You're a listing agent or you're a seller and you got this inspection coming and you're like, I really want to know what's going on. How do I find out? Well, let's talk about that. I'm Casey Jenkins with Oak Realty, and really what it comes down to is you've just got to sit back and wait. It's the hardest thing to do because a lot of times, that my sellers are like, hey, will you go to the inspection for me, or can I be at the inspection? The answer to both of those is no. This is the inspection's a time for the buyers to come in, them to take a look at the house. They paid for the inspector to come out there and for the inspector to dig into the house and say, hey, here's the things that are going on with this house. So it's their time to find out exactly what's going on in your house. And I know it's nerve-wracking for you as a seller. It's nerve-wracking for me as an agent because I want to know, hey, are we going to be okay, or are we going to be negotiating something big? But we don't want to interrupt that time because it's a time for them to ask questions. And when the listing agent, so me as the agent, or when you as the seller are there, it makes the buyers very nervous and they don't get as much information, and they could feel like you are actually trying to hide something by being there. Or you could say like, oh, everything's great and the house is perfect, and then they find one big thing, and instead of staying calm and being able to negotiate through it, their first thing is, well, if you said everything's perfect and I found this big thing, like what else is there? So with us being there as a listing agent or as a seller, you're going to actually cause more harm than you are going to cause good. You're going to put the buyer in a place where they're a lot more nervous and they're a lot more stand back and a lot more, I don't want to say the wrong thing, and their inspector is not going to be able to fully explain what's going on than you are going to help the situation. And the last thing we want is for everything to fall apart and we have to go find another buyer. The other thing that happens that I see is you have a lot of cameras in your house, maybe Ring doorbell cameras, maybe nanny cams, who knows what. But when an inspector sees that, again, the inspector holds back and tries not to explain everything to the buyer in order to not, move the sale around or not influence anybody or get you frustrated or get you amped up, because the buyer may not ask for everything. And so if you have an inspection, and you have a ton of cameras, it might behoove you to turn them around or turn them off for that time, just so that, again, the buyer can have their time to digest what's going on and to take a look at it and to figure out, hey, is this the house that I want? Because a lot of times, things that are found in inspection, we can work through them. However big or small they are, a lot of times we can work through them as long as both parties stay calm. And with you being at the inspection, or me as your agent being at the inspection, or cameras bearing down on them, the buyers aren't exactly feeling calm and cool and collect, and so they tend to be a lot more skittish, and that's the last thing we want. So with the question of, should the listing agent be at the inspection? No, they shouldn't. And I can tell you story after story that didn't happen to me, but happened to friends of mine, where the listing agent was there and the deal blew up because of something the listing agent said. Or the seller was there and the deal blew up because of something that the seller said that wasn't meant or said in any type of frustration or to put anybody down or to knock anybody off what they're thinking. It's just, it didn't come off the right way because of the person it was coming from. So if you got more questions, you want to talk about that more, give me a call, shoot me a text. Love to go into it with you. So don't forget to like and subscribe.